If you've followed me over the years, you've probably heard me use this term quite a bit in other videos, strut zones, or maybe you've heard other hunters in other videos on YouTube talk about strut zones. And we're going to be talking about strut zones for a little bit in this video, and I'm going to try to break this down and show you what I think is the best way to hunt these places where you're lucky enough to find one. Now, a strut zone, for those that maybe is new to turkey hunting, you don't really know what it is. It's a place where a gobbler likes to go up in the daytime. Now, he may be on the roost gobbling hard, and we've all had them mornings where they just gobble and gobble and gobble, man. You just think it's going to be a great morning, and the moment they hit the ground, you know, it just like everything just gets quiet, and everything, you don't hear nothing. It's like, man, what happened? They hit the ground, and it's just like it's over. And a lot of people get discouraged and go back to the house because they think the day's done. That's the furthest thing from the truth. Probably what you run into is a time of the season, which I usually call the lockdown phase, right there at the toward the end of April. A lot of places where turkey seasons are open, toward the the end of April, first part of May, where everything just seems like it just goes quiet. Okay, and you're going to have this as a turkey hunter. And so when there's just not a lot of gobbling, a lot of people get discouraged. But this is the prime time to find these strut zones and hunt them, because a turkey don't have to gobble in order for me to kill him. Gobbling is just attracting a hen. He's just letting the hen know he's there. But there's other ways that turkeys attract a hen. And, of course, we know another way they attract them is by strutting. That's where they fan out and they display and they do the little, what we call the dance. They go in a circle and they're displaying and they're out in that sunlight and they're just a beautiful creature. Well, he's displaying to get all the other hens in that area, to look through the woods or look through the corner of a field, or just all them eyeballs out there looking and seeing this, magnificent beauty that he has, and that attracts hens to him. So a lot of times a turkey don't even have to gobble for him to attract a hen. Well, a lot of times up in the daytime, they'll find these strut zones. They got a just particular place they like to go, and they'll move in there real quiet, and that's all they'll do. They'll just strut. And he may gobble one or two times, I'm not saying this, and sometimes, they may gobble their head off if he's really hot. But most of the time, these are older turkeys, 3, 4 year old turkeys, where that's, been around a while, 5-year-old turkeys, and they just don't gobble a lot, but they'll move into these known strut zones they like to have. Usually it's, maybe the corner of a field, or it may be a flat, in the timber, hardwood timber. It's just a big old flat, an open place, but it's usually an open place where they know that they can see, for themselves to see hens in danger, but also for the hens to be able to see him. So a lot of times you find these places and you set up in there and hunt them, and turkeys don't even have to gobble for you to be successful. And a lot of times if you hunt a place historically, say like you hunt the same farm year after year, maybe it's your family farm or a friend's farm that you hunt quite a bit, a lot of times you'll find turkeys in the same area every year up in the daytime. That's where you need to mark that and say, hey, that has to be a strut zone where he just goes and he just likes to be up in the day. Well, instead of just sitting there waiting for something to gobble, I'll move into these places when they're not gobbling, and I'll go in there and set up and start calling. So that's how you hunt a strut zone, is you find a place, you get in there, and you hunt them and wait. You're patient enough, and he who waits the longest usually kills the turkey. And sometimes you may have to wait 2 or 3, 4 hours. I'm talking about days when nothing's gobbling, and it's just very, it's just very, very rare that something around you is making any kind of noise. Set up in these places, and man, more times than not, I've killed turkeys by doing this. When I find a strut zone, here's how I like to approach hunting that particular place. Now, a lot of people will make the mistake by calling before they get there. And, they get up, 100 yards, and they know that they've marked this place where turkeys like to be up in the daytime. So that before they get there, 100 yards or so before they get there, they'll want to stand up on a ridge, or they'll want to stand up on the other end of the field, or whatever the case, and they'll want to call. They'll want to call. And they're waiting for that turkey to gobble because they want to make sure there's not one already there, so they can sit up way back here and call it, because they think in their mind he's just going to come running right to them. And usually it don't happen, because once he's in that strut zone, well, chances are he's not going to come out of there, because he's there for a reason. The hens in nature go to the gobbler, right? So he's just going to stand there and strut and wait for the hen to come to him. That's usually how it goes. Number 2, the reason you don't do that is because, one, what if he's 70, 80, 100 yards away from that flat or that corner or that point where he likes to go and strut, and you're back here 80, 90 yards, 100 yards, you know, and he hears you calling, the first instinct that turkey's going to have is to get to that place he likes to go, that breeding ground that, you know, we call a breeding ground. He likes to go there to pick up hens. So while you're back here calling and he ain't gobbling, the whole time he's moving, even though he's not gobbling, he's moving this way. And here you are, you don't think nothing's around, and you're moving this way. And guess what's going to happen? That's right, you're going to run right into him, and he's going to, you know, and you're going to blow it, he's going to see you, or and so it just usually don't work out. So what I do, if I want to what we call check a turkey, to make sure the one's not there, I usually depend on a locator call. A crow call is really good up in the daytime. Get you a good crow call. Or even an owl hooter, you know, a good owl hooter. You know, owls hoot up in the day too. Get you some kind of locator call and see if you can get a turkey to respond without a turkey call. A turkey call is the worst thing you can do when you're trying to get to a place, because, and I know that's what we're accustomed to doing, okay? And I understand locating turkeys, but when you're going into a place to set up, it's really not a good thing to do, because if something's there or if something's close by, you're going to run into them. So I try to use a crow call or a owl hooter or some kind of locator call to see if he responds. Now, if he don't respond, if there's no gobble, he's still probably somewhere in that area maybe. So here's another place where people mess up. They just walk too fast. They're going through there way too fast. They're making way too much movement. They're going through there way, you know, it's just, you can hear them coming forever. And so you want to move slower. All right, remember to move slower. Don't be in a hurry to get there. I don't know why people think that turkey hunting's like a racing game. You know, you just got to run to these spots. No, you know, move slow. Just like you still hunt when it comes to whitetail hunting, when you're trying to slip into an area and you're still hunting, do the same thing when it comes to turkey hunting. Watch how your feet move. Make sure that you're not walking hard. When you're trying to get to these strut zones where nothing's gobbling and you ain't heard nothing, get in there as quiet as possible and just set up without making any kind of call whatsoever. And that's going to put you way up on not spooking turkeys, and it's going to be a lot better for you getting in there unnoticed, and that's when you can start calling. Okay, once you've got into his strut zone without being detected, you've slipped in there quiet, you've got in there set up, let everything settle down for 5, 10, 15 minutes, just sit there and be quiet, and that's when you want to start calling. But you have to call the right way. A lot of times people will get in these strut zones in his bedroom, in his bubble like we're talking about, and this is the kind of call they want to do. You know, that loud calling that they've been doing trying to locate turkeys, because in their mind they're thinking, well, I want every turkey within 400 yards to know that I'm here in his sanctuary. And that's just not the way that you need to do this, because probably that turkey is somewhere around there within a 200 yard or less area if he's there at all. So now you've got to be a hen that's just moved into the place. And usually, you know, hens call all day long. I know we've talked about this before, but the only time you hear hens is when they get loud. And that's, oh, there's a hen down there, because she's, you know, she's excited, she's loud, she's yelping. But hens all day long do little sounds. They purr, they cluck, they feed, they got feeding calls, they got contentment calls, they do little whistles and the whines. All of that stuff's going on all day long. You just can't hear it as a hunter because it's so low. But turkeys in their bedroom and in the strut zones, they hear that all the time. So you want to be just like one of them turkeys that's moved in there. One of them hens that's moved in there and said, hey, you know, I'm here, but you want to call the right way. This is where soft calling really comes into play. You got to call. And one of the best tools to soft call is not just a mouth call, but a good slate call. You get a good slate call, you know, of your choice. This is Spring Fever's double-sided call, really good call, and you're just going to get in there and that's it. You say, well, boy, that's not loud at all. And plus, I've got a mic on, so it's loud. Just stuff like that. That's it. And you're doing that every few minutes, and you say, boy, that's just not a lot. Yeah, but he hears that out there. He knows, because that's what hens do when they get it. And more times than not, you're going to have a gobbler. After a while, you keep doing that and setting that and do that, he's going to gobble. And he might be right on top of you, and he was coming in the whole time. You just didn't know it. So you got to be, you know, you got to be paying attention and ready in these strut zones. So soft calling is very important. The softer you can call, the better you are in these places. That's what turkeys do every day. They get into these places and they do all this little talking, this little what I call bedroom talking. They do all of it. And gobblers hear that. More times than not, you're going to kill these turkeys when they're not gobbling. Nobody else is hearing them around. Get in these places, scout them out. Get in these places and find them. And you will kill more turkeys than you ever thought on days that when everybody around you say, well, they just ain't gobbling, nothing's happening. But you're the one pecking out a gobbler because you've hunted them right, you've got into his bedroom, you've made the right calls, soft call, get in there quiet, and you're going to be a lot more successful, I promise you. We got a lot of great content coming, so please take a moment and subscribe to this channel. Just hit that subscribe button down in the corner. I'd really appreciate it. Also, check out all of our sponsors in the description of this video, all the links below. Check out SOSO Outdoors, their YouTube page, their Facebook page, all their social media sites, Facebook, Instagram. Also check out springfevercustomcalls.com where you can pick up a Matt Dale box call, signature series, and my signature series mouth call, along with all the other great calls available at Spring Fever, their pot calls, mouth calls, all the other great calls there. Check them out, and I know they would appreciate it too. Also check out my Dale Outdoors official classic t-shirt. That's also available at Spring Fever, so if you want to support the channel, get you one of them too. Check out me on Instagram. I've got a brand new Instagram page, so come and follow me on Instagram. Facebook, like and follow me there. All them links is available down below. Until the next video, you stay tuned for a lot more turkey hunting information.